Welcome to Age Friendly Cleveland. My name is Mary McNamara, and I'm the director of the Cleveland Department of Aging. Across our country, we have what we call an aging network of services because no one division of government, agency, hospital system, or faith-based group provides all the services an older adult might need to age successfully. As examples, some older adults may need transportation or in-home health care, modifications to the home, or resources for staying engaged after retirement. It is our hope with this Age Friendly Cleveland series that you might learn more about the resources right here in Cleveland. This next segment is about one of the trusted agencies we work closely with every day to make Cleveland an age-friendly city.
Welcome to Age Friendly Cleveland. I'm Enrique Correa, and today I'm joined with Danny Williams of the Eliza Bryant Village. Welcome to the show.
Thanks
nice
a lot,
to have
Enrique.
you here.
Appreciate it.
All right, let's start off with our first question. Tell us a little bit about your organization and who you serve.
Eliza Bryant Village has been serving Cleveland for more than 122 years, which is pretty remarkable in and of itself. We are located right in the heart of Cleveland, 72nd and Wade Park, which, when you think about it, it's about 2.5 miles from downtown, 2.5 miles from University Circle, right near Midtown, where there's a great deal of activity going on. And our mission is to provide quality services and outreach programs and a secure, dignified environment for our seniors.
You said services. Tell us about the services you provide.
Well, there are three main areas that we provide service in. I mean, you know, if we're lucky, we're all going to get old. We may not all be poor, but if we're lucky, we're all going to get old. And when we get older, we're going to need a range of kind of supportive services. So we've got our nursing home where we provide a variety of care that we can talk about. We've got our adult day program, which provides services for folks who the family may need to be able to get out and about during the work day, and they need someplace safe and secure for their seniors. And in addition, we've got a range of affordable housing on our 17-acre campus.
Tell me more about the adult daycare and how important this is.
Well, you know, you're hearing a lot now about aging in place. And so that's just part of that continuum of care that allows people to sort of age in place. You know, what we do is we offer family members a place that they can, you know, take their folks and not just have them sit in front of a TV set and vegetate, but to have an enriching experience. So they may come to us and we'll have things like art and music therapy. We provide, it's sort of a medical model so that if they need care and comfort, you know, that it also involves things like exercise and other kinds of therapies that can, you know, provide a more enriched experience for them. We can provide that as well.
Why is this so important right now in this age?
Well, you know, a lot of it has to do with the way that our lives have changed. You know, you don't have families that can afford to have maybe one individual stay home all day to look at, you know, an older grandparent or parent. And it's just, people are squeezed. Their lives are complicated, they just don't have the time, and so they want to make sure that they've got some place that allows them to keep the other activities going that keep a family intact.
You mentioned affordable housing. Tell me more about that, because that's definitely important, especially with someone on a fixed income.
So starting back in 1999, we were able to get our first HUD subsidized project going, and we've added 2 others since then. We have a total of 149 units on our campus. And they, you know, they provide a number of amenities. The utilities are paid for. It's a clean, safe environment. You know, one is a sort of a independent cluster of 4 apartments, and we've got a couple of other high-rise that between the 3 of them provide the 149 units. But what's key is that it's a jewel right, you know, in a community that's sometimes had some real challenges. You know, I was born in Huff. You know, Huff went through some tough times in the late 60s, but it's gone through a couple of sort of regenerations, and I think we're on the cusp of another one right now. And so what people can find is some affordable housing that's right here in the center of the city, gives them access to a number of great amenities throughout the city that they can afford and feel safe in.
Especially, I guess, they can also keep some of their independence, which is very important to them. Tell me how important that is, especially with your facility.
Well, you know, what's key, everybody wants to remain as independent as possible. Everybody wants to live to their fullest capacity. And this housing is really designed for folks who still have a large degree of independence. Although the folks who are in the independent housing still have the opportunity to come over and participate in our adult day programs. Okay. And so if they're eligible financially, they can participate in the lunch program. So that they get the food in addition to the clean and safe shelter. You know, and they can come over and participate in the, you know, I just lost a bout of Wii bowling. Mm-hmm. You know, their activities, I guess I wasn't as good as I thought I was.
So they're playing Wii bowling.
Oh, they're playing Wii bowling, and they're engaging in exercise and in music and art therapy. And so I have to be, I wandered over at one point, and I heard some drumming in the background. And I wandered over to see what was going on. Right. And next thing I find myself in some sort of little dance, you know, which was not what I was bargaining for. You know, right. I just wanted to find out where the music was coming from.
Well, they're keeping active and having a good time, right? Which is important.
They are.
One thing you mentioned is eligibility. Tell me who's eligible. Is there a fee? Tell me something about that.
No, if they're eligible, and that's the real advantage here, and we've got eligibility specialists that take you through. I mean, it's a percentage of the poverty level, and it's different for different programs. But once they're eligible, they're not paying a fee. That's you know, one of the things that we do for folks who just don't have the means. Right. You know, having a little bit of money is often not enough to really do the kind of things that make your life fulfilled. And so, you know, that's part of it. So the only time that people might pay, we've got a transportation service that serves the folks on our campus. If they got to get to a medical appointment or something like that, that's free of charge. But for those in the community who may need to, you know, transportation someplace for a modest $5 charge, you know, between the hours of 10 and 2, mm-hmm. they can make a reservation to get one of our buses to take them to an appointment or someplace like that. But even that, I mean, it's only $5. It's much less than they'd have to pay a cab or Uber or any place else that they'd need to get around to that kind of appointment.
Plus, they feel safer.
Absolutely, absolutely. We're going to take care of them, whether they're on our campus or they're with us in transportation. And
they have the trust that you provide, knowing that you're going in your car service and doing those things.
Yeah, you know, and one good thing about what we're trying to do is people can move, can evolve for the part of their life when they can live independently. We've got those opportunities for them, and they can, you know, we occasionally have a few vacancies. So if they reach out to us on our website, they can get on a waiting list if that's a need that they would have. If they get to a point where they need a little bit more support, they can migrate to our adult day program and get the kind of supports that provides. If they then need the greater support that we provide in our nursing home, we got 4 levels of care in our nursing home. So, for example, if you know, some folks come to us because they need some skilled care. They need to rehab from a procedure that they've had in one of the hospitals. Right. And the expectation is that we'll work with them, get them back on their feet, get them back in their home. You know, if they need a little bit more care, you know, moderate level of care to help them with activities of daily living, we have that service in our nursing home as well. Then there's a level of care when people may have cognitive impairments, okay. You know, dementia, Alzheimer's, different things that will keep them from being able to look after all of their needs. And we're, you know, some folks who have cognitive impairments also will wander. Right. So we want to make sure we keep them safe from things that might happen to them. And then there are folks who just need total care, who need 24/7 care, and we can provide that as well. So we've got that whole continuum of opportunities that people from independent to the kind of services that we have in adult day to the total care that they might need at some point in their lives.
In my experience lately, it seems like a lot of seniors and older adults want to volunteer, especially if they're retired. What about somebody wanting to volunteer for your organization and viewers out there and seniors out there who may want to volunteer?
You know, that is such an essential part of what we do. We would not be Eliza Bryant Village if it weren't for volunteers. This goes back to our founder, Eliza Simmons Bryant, who came up to Cleveland from North Carolina with her mother, Polly Simmons, back in 1858, with her 2 brothers as well. And they came to Cleveland and they saw that black folks in particular were not getting the supports that they needed. They started inviting folks into their home. You know, they developed a reputation. If you needed a place, a safe place to sleep or a warm meal, you could go to the Bryants and they'd help you out.
Right.
And they eventually kind of cobbled together, with the help of volunteers at their church, enough to get started what then was known as the Cleveland Home for Aged Colored People. And this was incorporated in 1896, 122 years ago. And they cobbled it together. The story is they also got a little bit of money from Rockefeller, but the core of that money came from this dedicated group of women who said, this just can't stand. We just can't allow folks to live in these kind of conditions where there is no real support for them. And so what was then known as the Lady Board of Managers eventually became known as Auxiliary One, were the ones who were really instrumental volunteers in getting Eliza Bryant Village started. And then they evolved to the point where there were 2 other auxiliaries that have been formed since then, Auxiliary 2 and Auxiliary 3, and it's that kind of volunteer spirit that keeps us going. But it's even more than that now. We've got a volunteer coordinator, Chantel Davis, who will cultivate all kinds of volunteer relationships. We've got, there's students coming in from John Carroll and from Case and from Baldwin Wallace, providing all kinds of services for our seniors. And so we got I just got a chance to greet a high school group that came in a few months ago to work with our seniors doing art and craft and, a whole range of fun activities with our seniors.
How do your services and programs make Cleveland more age-friendly?
Well, think about what you need to be an age-friendly city. You want to make sure that people feel secure. You want to make sure that people have access to the amenities in the city, that have transportation access. They need to have good companionship, enriching experiences for them through their interactions with other folks. And when you think about the range of services we provide, we hit all those, and we try to make sure that we're a good partner. Not only if we can't do it, we'll refer them to someplace else, in the community that can provide the kind of services they need. But, I was listening to something on TV the other day, and it had Joe Biden on. He was talking about, what it really takes to have a happy life. And he identified 3 things. He said, you want to have something to do, you want to have someone to love, and you want to have something to look forward to.
Right.
And that overlaps really nicely with the kind of things you want to provide for our seniors if they're going to be happy and we're going to be an age-friendly city. And we think that we go a long way toward trying to provide those kind of things for our seniors.
Well, it sounds like you've got a lot of programs that are helping people, and the people watching now, what numbers you have, email address, so these people could get in touch with you?
Well, if you go to our, it's probably always easier to go to elizabryant.org. And that can kind of tie you into a link to a lot of our services. And if they want to volunteer, you'll find a link to that area. Chantel Davis would be the right person. But if they want to know more about us, I would invite you to reach out to me. Email me at dwilliams@elizabryant.org, and we can arrange a tour. We can introduce you to our administrator, Deborah Enty, and some of our other program staff. And you can see if this is the right place for you or a member of your family.
Well, I thank you very much for joining us. You've taught us a lot about these programs, and I'm sure our viewers are going to learn a lot from you as well.
Well, I appreciate it. It's a great opportunity for us to be on.
Well, that's all the time we have for now. And I want to tell the people out there, thank you for watching as well. For TV 20, I'm Enrique Correa. Remember, we are Age Friendly Cleveland.